folks, it's Amy from Colorado Mountain Living, and today I wanted to take you on a little scavenger hunt out in the woods. Actually looking for a particular medicinal plant, and the name of it is called Osha root. So I'm holding in my hands here a little jar from a couple of years ago. In the bottom of the jar is the macerated root from the Osha plant. And the reason why I'm really interested in it is because it's been known for thousands of years to be very antiviral, antibacterial, really good for the lungs. The Native Americans have used it for centuries for keeping the air pure, especially like when a newborn baby is in the room. They kind of hang one of the Osha roots out to kind of purify the air, and that's how they believed it worked. Also, taking it internally, there's a lot of belief that the Osha root can help with stamina. And in fact, Osha root is also called bear root or bear medicine because coming out of hibernation, the bears kind of go for this root they dig it up for their initial energy source because there's really nothing else. You know, when they come out of hibernation, food sources are limited, so they go for the Osha root, so they know it's really powerful. So one thing I was fortunate to find out is that this Osha root grows on our property, and it's actually pretty rare. It grows at just about an elevation around 9,000 feet and above, and it tends to grow in select areas, so around aspen groves in particular. It has been known to be over-harvested. So irresponsible harvesters, I guess you could say, they take too much of the plant. So the rule of thumb is to take 1 in every 10. So that's what I'm going to be doing today, is just trying to find a few of these, and I'll take you through the process. So fortunately, because I found this before, I know what I'm looking for. And there are some things that you really need to understand about how to identify the plant. So the first thing is that this time of year it's easy to identify because they've already turned yellow. They're very fern-like. And again, like I said, they're in the aspen grove. So like you can see around me, all aspen trees, and we're at the right elevation. So they kind of look fern-like, but the big way to distinguish them is by the smell. So if you were to break off some of the plant, crush it, it has a very strong parsley smell. So that's what you're looking for. That's the key. There are other plants that are similar looking that are actually poisonous. So if you look at just the flowers, which I don't have here, but in the springtime, summertime, the flowers of the plant look very similar to poisonous hemlock, and the leaves are similar as well. However, poisonous hemlock doesn't necessarily grow in this area in the woods. It tends to grow more in a watershed area. So knowing your environment, understanding like what other plants they're sort of they're companioned with, like the aspens, and using all of your senses, so using the sense of smell as well. So there's definitely a lot right here. We're just right on the edge of our property, and there's hundreds of plants. So my goal today is just to take a few. I'll have plenty to be able to make what I want to with it. So the challenge is digging it up because, like you know, this dirt is very rocky, and digging a root out of soil is a challenge. It's not just like picking the leaves, so it's definitely a little bit more muscle involved. I found one that's really pretty big. It's right at the base of this aspen tree. There's a lot of connecting leaves coming off of it, so I think this is where I'm going to start. But I did dig up this little piece right here, so you can see right here, this is where the root is starting to come together. So I'm going to try to dig all around it and see what I can dig up. I can tell you that I'm sure smelling the root. As you dig into the dirt, you start to smell more of that parsley smell, but it also smells like licorice, and I'm getting a little further down and it's pretty big. Okay, I was able to pull out one little chunk. I pulled it loose, but it's definitely like the thick part of the root is what you want. So there's more in there, so I'm gonna keep you guys. I got this is the one plant. I got quite a bit of root off of it. And boy, if I could tell you the smell right now, it is like parsley meets a licorice factory. It is crazy. It smells so wild. I can't even smell the dirt. It's just, yeah, it's like, I wish I had smell-o-vision. It is parsley meets licorice factory. I'll just put it like that. You know, I'm gonna have Brian smell it because I've pulled this stuff out as medicine in the last couple of winters, and he just makes a face like, no. I mean, some people really like parsley licorice, but I would make him eat this stuff if he felt like he was coming down with a sore throat or wasn't feeling too hot. And what I do is I mix the root with honey, and that's my secret. So I'm gonna get another one of these, maybe 2 more, and I think I'll have plenty to make all of the medicine that I want to. I'm in the little aspen grove that's right next to our house, right next to the driveway, and I spotted a couple more plants. The fall is the ideal time of year to do your harvest because when you're harvesting plant root, you want to have the maximum nutrients, plant compounds concentrated in that root, and that usually happens in the fall after the plant dies off from the summer, or you have your first hard freeze, which we had, and so all the nutrients and compounds get concentrated into the root system. So that's when you want to do your harvesting. Because they tend to grow next to a lot of dead material, it's very helpful if you can find a plant that's easy to access. Right? I'm not going to try to get the ones in between all the dead trees and logs. It's just hard digging. So when you find one out in the open like this, that's a jackpot. Watch out for these these wild roses. These thorns go right through your gloves. Guys, this is a great example of what I was saying. So I was saying that the root grows in and around aspens. Well, here's the root, and here's an aspen root, and here's an aspen root. I mean, it's literally growing over this one and surrounded by this one and one over here. So it's like it's like just demonstrating my point that these grow in and around aspens, literally. I mean, this one's just straddling the root going this way and this way over the aspen root. So I try to avoid all that hard work digging around logs, but then I end up having to dig around all these roots. But here's another really good piece, and I can smell it, very potent. Okay, and there you have it. Looks like there was about 4 different shoots off of that one. Not as thick as that big one that I got earlier, but nice, still pretty substantial. Okay, so I found one more to dig, and I'm going to call this one a Big Daddy because the flower bracts are still on there. So they're dried up, but you can see how the flowers, it looked like it almost was like a Queen Anne's lace kind of flower. Okay, this one was decent sized. Pretty good. That was worth digging. You know, breaks off a little bit at the bottom, but this is the section that you want right here. So now I'm going to go rinse all this off. See what we got to work with. Okay, folks, so I've got all the root here. So what my plan is I'm going to peel off some of the hairy stuff and try to get down to the core of the root. I'm going to chop it up really small, and then I'm going to fill the jar, and then I'm going to pour honey into it. And then you can take a little spoonful and chew it up as you need it. So let's get to the peeling. I did have this root soaking in water because I didn't get to it right away. So that way it stays hydrated. So I'm just kind of taking off all of the side roots, the little hairs off of it. The reason I'm cutting it off is because it's a little bit too tough to chew up. So I just wanted it to not be in my final product, because you want to be able to chew up the root and swallow it, not just be chewing on a bunch of fibers. So I'm just trying to clear out a lot of the really fibrous stuff. Okay, so I just rinsed off my cutting board and my knife. So now I'm gonna just chop everything up. I'm gonna just chop it up into really small pieces and start filling my jar. The smaller the pieces means more surface area, and then it's more room for the honey to absorb into the root. So just trying to get as small as I can get.
I'm going for like 1/4 inch size pieces, but you know, there's no, the only reason I'm going for the small is just to have more surface area. So it can be whatever size you want, but something that, you know, you wouldn't mind chewing up. And it definitely tastes better with honey. So this is ready to go into the jar.
I'm going to pack the jar full of the Osha root, and then I'm going to put the honey in. Okay, now we're going to add the honey. So as much as I can, this is from the harvest. Of course, it's very thick honey, so it's going to take a while for it to kind of travel down to the edge of the end of the jar there. It's filling in all the air pockets. All right, folks, so there you have it. This is the Osha root honey mixture. So we'll develop a strong flavor, but you know, again, this is what I'm calling, this is medicinal. So this is the powerhouse right here. We've got local mountain honey and native Osha root. So definitely a powerhouse of health and fighting off those bad germs. So guys, here's to your health. I just wanted to educate you guys on the properties of Osha root and the interesting fact that we have it here in our property. And I'm very fortunate to have that. But as a disclaimer, I just want to say I'm not a doctor. I'm not prescribing this for any kind of medical use for your individual needs. You should do your own research on Osha root and find out about it. If you're interested more, just look around. And hope you enjoyed the video about Osha root. If you haven't heard of it before, very interesting herb. A very interesting plant. So thanks for joining, guys. Take care. We'll see you next time.